All right, we're about to dive into something pretty incredible. It's a profound account of a spiritual revelation from way back in the 14th century. And it's a journey that starts in the deepest, darkest suffering you could imagine and ends with this startlingly simple, beautiful understanding of divine love. The whole story really hangs on this one central question. How could a vision of pure torment actually lead someone to a divine understanding? I mean, could seeing hell literally be a path to heaven? That's the mystery we're going to explore, right at the heart of this medieval woman's near-death experience. But before we get to any of the big insights, we have to start with the pain. And I mean immense pain. Our story kicks off with a soul in the grip of a crisis so bad, it was both physical and spiritual. We're talking a state of complete and utter distress. And get this wasn't just some sudden bad moment. The narrator had already been through 15, yes, 15 distinct visions, all in a single night. It was this grueling spiritual marathon that had just left her completely drained, physically and emotionally. So, this 16th revelation, it's the grand finale. You can really feel how physical this suffering was. She describes her body as completely dry, with very little comfort. It's such a powerful image, right? Someone just utterly depleted, a person she called a wretch, just mourning and grieving in both body and soul. And in that state, the self-judgment was just brutal. She saw herself as a wretch, feeling like her very existence was a sin, an act of ingratitude. This is rock bottom, the absolute lowest point, and it's from here that this final revelation is going to spring. And then, right there, in that state of total despair, on the very edge of sleep, something truly terrifying shows up. Suddenly, the devil was just there. And we're not talking about some abstract idea. This was a tangible, menacing presence, thrusting itself right up close to her face. The account she gives is just startlingly specific. I mean, listen to these details. The devil's face looked like a young man's, with red hair, black spots that looked like freckles, and these white teeth bared in a menacing grin. The expression was pure wickedness, and on top of all that, there was a terrible stench. This was no vague nightmare. It was a vivid personal assault on all the senses. So, this demonic vision sets up this incredible contrast. On one hand, you have something that's claustrophobic, threatening, and just suffocatingly close. But what comes next is its perfect opposite, a vision that is glorious, supreme, and absolutely endless. So after that suffocating darkness, the narrator's spiritual eyes are open to something completely different. It's a vision of pure, supreme goodness and glory. And here's the amazing part. This vision wasn't happening out there. It appeared inside her own heart. She saw this beautiful, endless world, a blessed kingdom right within herself. This shift from an external threat to this internal, glorious landscape, it's a massive turning point in the story. At the very center of this kingdom, this divine city inside her heart, sat this figure of ultimate authority and goodness. This was the source of all the peace, all the glory in the vision. A divine presence that just completely banished the stench and the fear of the devil. So, from these two incredibly powerful, opposing visions, the narrator learns this profound lesson. The whole experience teaches her a brand new way to understand one of our most basic emotions, fear itself. And that's a question that still hits home today, right? After seeing the face of pure evil and the glory of the divine, you're left wondering, what exactly are we supposed to be afraid of? Well, the answer she gets in this revelation is that fear isn't just one thing. Turns out there are 4 distinct types, and understanding them is the key to spiritual well-being. So let's break them down. First, you've got the fear of attack, that sudden shock that can actually be purifying. Second is the fear of punishment, the kind that wakes a soul up from the sleep of sin. Third is doubting fear, and this is the unhealthy one, the anxiety that leads straight to despair, kind of like what the narrator was feeling earlier. And finally, there's reverent fear. This one is different. It's gentle, it's rooted in love for the divine, and it's the only kind that ultimately brings peace. So after years of thinking about these visions of hell and heaven and the lessons on fear, the narrator's entire incredible journey comes down to one final, all-encompassing revelation. Everything. It all leads to a single, simple answer. So what was the meaning behind all of it? The sickness, the despair, that demonic vision, the heavenly kingdom. What was the point? The answer was simply love. That's it. That was the whole point of the entire experience. The text puts it so directly, it's almost like a script. Do you want to know your Lord's meaning in this? Well, no, it was love. Who showed you this? Love. Every single question she could have had is answered with the exact same word, showing that love was the cause, the method, and the ultimate purpose of the whole thing. And this isn't just talking about a fleeting emotion. The ultimate teaching here is that this divine love is the bedrock of reality. It's this eternal force that has always existed and will always exist, and it's the very foundation of everything. And that kind of leaves us with a final, pretty powerful question to think about. If this medieval mystic could transform her absolute torment into such a profound understanding of love, what is the revelation that might be waiting to be found in our own struggles?